I was extremely disappointed in the treatment the Canadian government gave us, because being born in Canada, if you're not a Canadian, who is?
As you know, evacuation means a lot of tough things ahead. We don't know what to expect, but it turned out quite well. Even during the war, we were treated quite well.
People still think that we're aliens because we look different, you know, enemy aliens, because we look different, and they compare us with the treatment that the Japanese government did with the prisoner of war in Hong Kong, and they were soldiers fighting against Japan. You know, they were really like the Canadian soldiers were fighting against Japan, so they really were prisoners of war. But we were Canadians, so you can't compare us the same way.
It was a good move for us coming here.
But when we came here, we didn't experience much of discrimination. One good thing we were experiencing at that time, you know, very, very quiet life.
I'm a Japanese. As far as I'm concerned, I'm Japanese, so I do things the way I was taught from my parents, and I try to teach my children a little bit of Japanese heritage, which a lot of them, they do enjoy it. I know my grandchildren, they love to know a lot about Japanese and this and that, so it depends on how you feel, I guess, more than anything else.
They're doing the right thing, being a Japanese. Yes, and this is why today I'd like to pass some of it to my sons, and my son will do the same for theirs.
I belong to the different clubs and organizations. And in fact, I was the president of the West Fork Kiwanis Club, vice president of the West Thunder Community Center. I was the executive of the YMCA. And I got along well with most of the Occidentals. They say, how do I feel because I'm Japanese? I say that I can't see myself. Just like you can talk to people, but you can't see yourself, just like you're in a mirror. So I figure I'm just as good as the rest of you. Like I just said, I was president of the West Fork Kiwanis Club, and you gotta stand up in front of people and talk and make speeches. Yet you're the president of the organization, when you're talking to 99% whites, you have a little, well, Inyo, you know, in Japanese, in English, Inyo means hold back, and you do hold back a certain amount.
I was young enough, too young, I guess, to feel bitter. I think all that bitterness comes out after, when you grow up, and then you feel, why did they do this to us? But I think, sure, we were, you know, we wondered why we were treated this. What we knew why is because we were Japanese, but we were Canadians also. I think people can't understand that we were born in Canada. You know, most of us, my mom, my dad were naturalized, and we regard this as our home. Sure, we look different, but, you know.
1988, when the Prime Minister, Brian Mulroney, apologized to the Japanese Canadians and the Japanese for the treatment they gave us. At that time, the NAJC, National Association of Japanese Canadians, wanted the government to say that they will never have discrimination of that sort again, or have the War Measures Act. But it's happening right now with the Afghanistan people, who are just ordinary people living in Canada. People is discriminating against them.
Yes, as soon as we heard about that, I said to Paul, they're going to be treated just the way we are because they're visible minorities. You know, when it first happened, maybe it's kind of backed off a little bit now and trying to be more fair about these things because they remembered what they did to us, but it's hard being a visible minority. You think of yourself as Canadian, but even our friends think we came from Japan. And how many times have we told them we're born in Canada? Or they'll say, "Ah, you speak good English."
I always say, as long as there's different colors, there's going to be discrimination.
As far as we're concerned, I have my 3 kids, 3 boys. They're all married now, and they're living in Toronto. One in Near Falls at the moment, but I hope that they would never, ever experience anything like we went through. The people all over the world, they're getting closer together to understand the human relation. It's a beautiful world, and we should be able to live in one like that, yes. With the city being Yanaizu, you know, we more so try to keep out the culture in Japan. And the 3rd generation here is doing a great job trying to keep the level as before.
Yeah, because the 3rd generation, they like to keep up the culture too. They don't want to stop that. They want to keep up the culture as much as they can.
I'm proud to be a Japanese Canadian, no doubt about that.
Proud of my heritage.
Being a Japanese, I don't care what anybody says, I'm still a Japanese no matter what.
I don't feel ashamed to being Japanese.
You know, to be proud of who you are.